Hello everybody! We're going to be taking a look at how I got some of these tones in this demo. So these are actually the exact same stems that I used in original release. Took the original DIs and I've slapped the Abasi plugin on here. I don't have much for a lead guitar in this song, but I am still kind of using a lead-ish tone. Let's take a look at Archetype Abasi. We have got 3 amps, clean, rhythm, and lead, our preamp pedals, and an EQ, cab, and then a couple of pedals after your amp and cab and all that stuff. So this is my lead tone, and it is pretty simple. It's kind of a sort of normal gain. I'm compressing the hell out of it because it is a tapping track. So I want it to all come in at the same level. And let's see what we got here. Cool. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much your standard kind of lead tone here. What's cool is they have these little shelves, which makes it really easy to do like pretty big moves tonally. Obviously, you're not going to hear much from that low shelf because those are all higher notes. But yeah, so I have this set pretty normally. We've got the attack turned on, which kind of gives you a little bit more pick attack stuff going on. I'm compressing the crap out of it because I'm an idiot. Usual stuff. So over here, I've actually found that this amp sim does like next to nothing at like 16K. Which is fine anyway, because for lead stuff, I'm going to be pulling that stuff out with an EQ anyway. Same thing with the 65 here. Probably I would normally be pulling 125 out as well because there's no resonant frequencies even close to that. And then the 4K is kind of like your like shh frequency. So I just pulled that guy down a little bit. This guy is probably going to be similar throughout all of the tones. Just a good old 57, a little bit off axis, and then your ribbon. So what I'm doing is I've got this 57 for the treble stuff. And then I use this 121 for the mids and low mids and stuff. So putting them together, it's a little more full. So then we run on to our delay pedal, which is a nice, easy to use delay pedal, high cut, low cut, pretty much all the stuff you would expect. It's got a little bit of modulation on it. Then we have got a big reverb. The Kronos. This is also the Kronos. We've got a big old reverb, like even with the decay set super low, it still is just really punishingly. It's crazy. It's a very strong reverb. But that also is like super standard for what Tosin is normally doing. So before we get to our rhythm patches, which is probably what everyone's interested in, that's why I'm going to make you wait. We're going to do our sort of, about half of the song is this kind of mid-gain tone. So let's take a look. Guess what I'm doing? It's crazy, guys. I'm using the clean amp. Can you believe it? So the clean amp in this actually is really cool. I think it's my favorite clean amp of all of the Archetype stuff. Once again, you get your shelves, which let you do some pretty seriously broad maneuvers, and then sort of your normal amp controls. And then you have this blend here, which I really appreciate. So unfortunately, these guitars aren't really doing anything particularly pretty, so it's not quite going to show you what it's kind of best at. But so this blend knob blends in the direct signal, but I believe it's not exactly direct. I think it's direct with like a big ass high shelf on it. It's sparkly as hell, but it sounds really nice. So if your blend is all the way up, I should probably solo just the guitar and not. So very spanky, and I think I tracked that split coil on the bridge position, so it's already going to be very spanky, but it's even spankier now. So if I throw that back, what I'm basically doing with the actual amp section, since I have it blended so much to the clean, is I'm just kind of dirtying up everything, and I'm adding in that sort of bass kind of low mid that wouldn't be there otherwise from that blended tone. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of honk going on, and I've got that low mid and bass coming back in. So then when you blend it, you get the spank, and then you get this sort of extra fullness. And then as you can see, I've got the gain cranked a good bit, so it gives you a little bit of that sort of mid-gain crunch. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. So, you're probably looking at this and going, what the heck, man? There's 4 guitar tracks. And that would be a reasonable thing for you to think and say. And what am I doing, you may ask yourself. And I will answer you, because that's the point of this video. I don't know if it's double or quad or whatever. Everybody has different numbers. I think it's double tracking, I'm guessing, because I'm assuming if somebody says single tracking, they don't mean this one track. They mean these two is a single track. Who knows? Maybe I'm crazy. Who cares? The idea is I have 2 separate stereo rhythm guitars, and they're both doing sort of different sonic things. It's actually a very similar idea to what I was doing with the mid-gain guitars, actually. So we have got our darker rhythm guitars. And then we've got our brighter rhythm guitars. Because when you put them together, you get this huge, big, beautiful wall of sound. Okay, this is not going to be anything particularly mind-blowing, what I'm doing with these tracks here. Let's take a look at our dark one first. As you can see, I've got this high shelf turned off. And that makes a huge difference in itself right there. And then we have this tight knob, which I believe is like something sort of like it changes the gain structure just a little bit, and then it kind of affects your high mids. So maybe it is just gain structure. But yeah, we've got our low mid slash bass track doing its thing. Running a little bit of compression, doing a little bit of this. Oh, okay. That's interesting actually. So I'm actually pulling even still more treble out. Trying to make this kind of more smooth and a little muddier, I guess. Murkier, something like that. EQ, yeah. Big pump in the mids, pulling that down just a little bit. So I think just trying to even everything out. I think once again, this is probably a similar idea. This one's higher. Yep. And then this one is more of a low and low mid. Yep. Exactly as you'd expect. Not using either of those. So that is that rhythm guitar. Now we're going to take a look at our sort of trebly rhythm guitars. Very similar EQ curve, actually. Pulling some of that 4K out again because it got a little bit whistly. Compressor, compressing the crap out of it. As always, you know how I do. That's my business. Distortion pedal or overdrive or whatever this is, this thing, I am pumping the treble like a mofo this time. So it's adding a good bit of treble. And I'm doing the opposite with the shelves. Shocker! Almost no gain. Pretty high on the tight. This one's a pretty wild decision here. So I'm just using that treble knob as just this huge, like, hey, look at all of my high mid. And then I'm pulling the bass back like big time. And we are using incredibly trebly mics on our cab for this one. Unsurprisingly. And then as we saw earlier, the EQ is like this. So I quite enjoy this plugin. I definitely like the clean a lot. And I think the rhythm and lead amps are kind of like this sort of, it kind of goes along with the rest of Tosin's sort of style, which is this, everything's kind of flat and hi-fi, not flat in a bad way, but just natural, as opposed to sort of a lot of guitar amps and pickups are kind of baked in with shelves and peaks and all that kind of stuff. But Tosin seems to like carving out his tone after the fact. So that, I think, is the big focus of this kind of plugin. Bada boom, bada bing. Thanks a bunch for watching, everybody. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of this content or other content or any content that I make, hit the subscribe button. If you actually want to see more, ring the bell as well, because the subscribe button does nothing, as we all know, which is wonderful. If you want to support me in my journey of making videos in my basement, you can hang out with myself and a group of like-minded people at my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Drewsif, Drewsif. Thank you very much for watching. Have a terrific day and sing a song for your best friend. See you next time.
Now